Have you ever asked yourself why anxiety clings so tightly, even when you try everything to push it away? Have you ever wondered if peace is something we must chase, or if it is something already within us waiting to be uncovered? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most powerful teachings from the Diamond Suit, or the 8 words that have guided countless seekers through storms of fear and into oceans of calm. Let the mind arise without dwelling on anything. This teaching is not abstract philosophy. It is a map, a living practice, a way to turn the restless energy of anxiety into the spacious awareness of freedom. Our message today is simple but profound. Anxiety does not have to be your enemy. It can be your doorway into deeper presence if you know how to stop clinging. And my promise is that by the end of this video, you will not only understand this teaching in theory, but you will also have practical tools to begin living it in the midst of your daily struggles. Anxiety as a storm without end. Picture this: a young professional wakes up at 3 a.m. heart racing, thoughts spiraling. They replay every mistake, anticipate every failure, worry about every tomorrow. They toss and turn, exhausted, but unable to rest. Isn't this a familiar scene for so many of us? Anxiety is like a storm that keeps circling, never finding release. Modern solutions often tell us to fight it, medicate it, distract from it, argue with it. But the more we fight, the stronger it seems to grow. Why? Because fighting anxiety is like adding wine to the storm. The Diamond Sutra points us in another direction: not to resist, not to cling, but to allow the mind to rise without dwelling. This teaching is radical. It doesn't say stop your thoughts, or it doesn't say eliminate anxiety. It says don't dwell. Let the thought come, let it go, like a wave on the ocean. Let it rise and fall, without clinging to its crest or sinking into its trough. The 8 words that hold a universe. Let the mind rise without dwelling on anything. At first glance, it seems impossibly simple, but within those words lies an entire universe of practice. Think of your mind as a sky. Thoughts are clouds, some are light and passing, others dark and heavy. Most of us live staring at the clouds, are convinced they define the sky. But the sutra reminds us the sky is always larger. The sky is never stained by clouds, no matter how stormy. When the mind rises without dwelling, you stop identifying with every cloud. You return to the vastness of the sky. Imagine what that means for anxiety. Instead of "I am anxious," you can say, "Anxiety is passing through." Instead of "I am broken," you can say, "A heavy cloud is moving across the sky." That shift alone transforms your identity from storm to sky. Isn't that already a kind of freedom? Stories of transformation through non-dwelling. Let me tell you about Sarah, a university student drowning in pressure. Exams loomed, deadlines piled up, and every night her thoughts circled like vultures. One day during a meditation class, she heard the line from the Diamond Sutra. At first she resisted. How could he not dwell when her future was at stake? But she practiced. Every time anxiety surged, she whispered, "Your thought is rising. Let it pass." Slowly the grip loosened. He still studied, still cared, but her nights grew calmer. Years later, she said, those 8 words saved her from burning out completely. Another story: Michael, a father facing job loss. Bills stacked high, fear gnawed at him. He couldn't stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. But through mindfulness rooted in this teaching, he began to see his fear of waves and yes, but impermanent. By choosing not to dwell, he made space to breathe, to act with clarity. He found a new job, not out of panic, but out of steadiness. His children noticed the change. His home grew lighter. Isn't it striking how a simple shift from clinging to watching can change not just inner peace, but outer circumstances as well? The practice of non-dwelling in daily life. How do we practice this in our own lives? Start small. When a thought of fear rises, don't say, "I must not think this." Instead say, "This is fear, let it pass." When you feel shame, don't say, "I am shameful." Say, "This is shame arising, it will fade." When anger surges, I don't say, "I am angry." Say, "Anger is here like a cloud. It is not me." Try this with your breath. Inhale and name the thought. Exhale or release it over and over. Slowly, you'll find that thoughts lose their power when you stop feeding them with attention. And here's the beauty. Non-dwelling doesn't make you passive. It makes you clearer. When your mind is not tangled, you see choices more sharply. You respond instead of reacting. You create instead of collapsing. From anxiety to spaciousness. Over time, practicing non-dwelling transforms anxiety from a monster into a messenger. It no longer rules you. It simply reminds you, pay attention, something matters here. And when you hear that message without clinging to it, you can act with wisdom instead of panic. Think of a musician playing a note. If they hold it forever, it becomes unbearable. But if they let it rise and fade, it becomes part of a melody. That is the art of non-dwelling, turning the noise of anxiety into the music of awareness. Reflection before we end. So let me ask you, what would your life look like if you stopped dwelling on every thought, every fear, every memory? What would it feel like to let thoughts rise and fall without making each one a verdict on your worth? The Diamond Sutra's 8 words are not distant philosophy. They are a lifeline. They are a reminder that the peace you seek is not somewhere far away. It is in the very space between your thoughts, waiting for you to stop clinging. Invite you to try it today. Choose one anxious thought, and instead of wrestling with it, whisper, let it rise, let it pass, see what happens, and share your experience in the comments below. Your story may inspire someone else still caught in the storm. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and support this channel so we can keep exploring the wisdom that turns suffering into freedom. Thank you for watching this video.
Before you leave, here's something special. In Buddhism, we believe that every encounter carries a deeper meaning. Would you like to discover your true soul connection, the one written into your destiny? Take the Soulmate Test today and unveil the hidden truths of your journey. Click the link below and begin your path now.
http://soulmate. You wisdom more, come, white.